Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for the Aftermath Live, and it's the Aftermath to Manchester United losing 2-0 against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Another semi-final lost under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's 4 on the spin now, 2 times against City in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, that semi-final in the FA Cup against Chelsea, and the Europa League semi-final against Sevilla. And just had a troll. Funny I say that, considering I was about to talk about Twitter. I just had a scroll down the timeline and see United fans absolutely losing their mind, and I don't quite see where that's come from. Now, I understand the frustration, I understand the annoyance, I understand that we've just been knocked out of a semi-final. That's not what we want to be doing. 4 semi-finals now under Ole. That's ultimately not good enough as a Manchester United team. You need to be converting one of those, 2 of those, into a final, into a trophy. You need to be delivering trophies as Manchester United manager, as Manchester United players. But I don't think it's as bad as people are making out today. I genuinely thought there were very good parts of our performance, in that we competed for large parts of the game. There were 12 months ago, in the first leg against City, we got absolutely battered off the park at Old Trafford. Now, this isn't sound defeatist, but for most of the game today, I thought we played quite well without getting it right in the final third. I thought defensively, apart from the 2 set pieces that we fell asleep on, it wasn't that bad. There were parts of the game where I thought, Maguire's done well there, or Lindelof's done well there, or I think Shaw was poor at times with his distribution of the ball and going forward. I thought Aaron Wan-Bissaka was caught out a few times. But apart from the John Stones goal in particular, I didn't think the defence was that bad today. I just thought we got it wrong in the final third at the crucial moment in so many attacks. When you think about it, in the first half, Marcus Rashford in the first minute, we score, is given offside for through VAR. I think the lino did flag it, but VAR checked it, and you're just thinking, hold your run, and we're in. And there was about 2, 3, 4 of those times in the first half where Marcus Rashford holds his run, he's onside, we're through, potentially get a goal. And then there were other occasions where it was the final pass that was letting us down. And that was epitomised by Bruno Fernandes just before half-time. We're in a great position on the break. 1 minute on the board has just come up. So we know if you score here, it's right before half-time. There's no chance to respond. He's got the defender in front of him, Marcus Rashford, making the overlap. He goes to play in the pass, and it's under hit, short, and goes to the defender, and you're thinking, that's not Bruno. Now, Bruno had our best effort in the first half, where he drew a great save from the goalkeeper. Apart from that, it was the offside goal. I think Marcus Rashford had a decent attempt, which was blocked by Ruben Diaz, who I thought was excellent, man of the match today. And probably the best defender on the park. And there was a few moments, but Maguire had a header where he wins so many headers in the attacking third. His aerial duel percentage is up here. It's massive, but you should be getting Stevie Bruce numbers. With the goals you should be getting. Dennis Irwin numbers, because he gets about 2-3 headed opportunities in a game. In the fight, it just doesn't seem to take him. And there was one where he doesn't get his full connection on it. He skims his head, it goes wide, and Lindelof and Martial just coming in on the back post, and it just beats him. And it's another moment where you haven't made the most of it. And there was a lot of them in the first half. I thought the first half, going in at half time, although City had most of the possession, going in at half time, I was reasonably pleased. And today, because I watched the game at home, I could hear what Roy Keane and Roy Keane was the same. He was like, United haven't played too badly, probably not delivered on a few occasions in the final third, but generally speaking, United haven't fared too badly. And I thought the first half wasn't too bad. City had their moments. De Bruyne hit a great shot off the post, and they had a couple of goals ruled out for offside. Again, correctly ruled out for offside. VAR was in play this time around. And then it was the second half. If you take away the sloppy defending for their goal, United would have arguably been a better team now. Obviously, if you score in a cup game 1-0 after 50-odd minutes, you can sit back a little bit and look to hit the team on the counter-attack. So that obviously comes into play. But that set piece, the defending was poor. How it gets across the box in the first place, but then you got Lindelof, you've got Maguire, who have got to deal with that cross. You've got to deal with it. And then Luke Shaw, you've got to come across the man. You've got to engage and come across, and everyone's just flat-footed. Maguire just left it like it was going out for a corner. John Stones was the only one looking to get anything on it. They did a VAR check for handball because that's the kind of finish it was. He was just making sure it went in off him. It didn't hit his hand, but it was a scruffy finish. And you've got to get those scruffy clearances. It was actually in a good position for Maguire or Lindelof to hit, or Shaw if he gets across his man, because of the fact the ball's coming this way and they're running towards it, face on. So it was a real it was real weak defending from Manchester United for the John Stones goal. The Fernandinho goal comes after United are pressing. We're leaving men up the field. They come back, they get a corner, whip it in. We get the first clearance. Then it goes back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who heads it out, and Fernandinho with a superb finish buries the opportunity, and it was over from there. But the second goal, 2-0, probably flatters City a little bit, but in the end of the day, they deserved to go through because they took their chances, and United didn't. We didn't take. I'd say we didn't create many clear-cut chances, but we had many opportunities to create clear-cut chances, if you get what I'm saying, in the final third, with the final ball was just not good enough. And it's another semi-final. Now, a lot of people are going to start talking about, is it a thing? Ollie's lost another semi-final. JC says, I'm Ollie in, but when is he going to learn from his mistakes? And I thought the substitutions were poor. I don't think the team selection was necessarily poor. A lot of people are talking about Eric Bailly in the comments and saying Bailly should have started. Now, in an ideal world, Eric Bailly starts, but we know the injury issues Eric Bailly has. We know if he breaks down, that's an issue. So I think, Eric Bailly not starting wasn't the biggest shock to me. And I don't think Lindelof was particularly bad to say, that made the difference in the game. But you may have a different opinion. David's got a super chat. And get your super chats in, get your thoughts in, get hitting that like button, get commenting. He says, United were not hungry enough to win, deflated. And I think, we're all deflated. We're all disappointed. We all want to go to finals. We should be converting these games into finals. And it's a failure on behalf of the manager and the players. 4 semi-finals that has to be converted into a final and a trophy. But I don't think this performance or this 90 minutes today was the end of the world, as I am seeing on social media, like people just absolutely going into meltdown. It's not the end of the world. It wasn't all that bad, I don't think. There was poor performances. I don't think anyone was really over a 6 out of 10. But I don't think anyone stank the place out. It just wasn't. Bruno's worst performance in the United shirt. Again, you should have been resting him. You should have been resting him. And from there, we had no build-up play, really. And the chances we created, wasteful with. I think we created one chance for Martial, and it summed it up for him. He went with his chest kind of thing, and it was checked for handball by the City player. It weren't handball. But it was really weird. You got to be sticking that in at the back post. And in the first half, he had the hold-up play. He had the, all that kind of stuff. But inside the box, you've got to come alive. And I know today we weren't good enough in the final third in terms of creating opportunities and creating chances. But you've got to be alive from the start to the finish for those opportunities when, teams are sitting back and we're crossing the ball in. I think when we were going long or we were trying to get the ball out of play and beat City's press, he was very good at, Anthony Martial is, at holding the ball up, winning fouls, winning throw-ins, bringing his teammates into play. But when we had the ball and City sat back, you've got to be looking for things to happen. You can't be expecting the perfect pass all the time because it's not always going to come. And today, when Bruno's having a bad game, when Pogba's not is on the left-hand side of that. And I think first half he was okay. Second half, not really much. Rashford wasn't in the game. Greenwood came on late, and I thought he looked bright, he looked sharp, but didn't really do anything. Didn't get his shot away quick enough. And you've got to be looking, always on the move. Make a bad pass into a good pass. And so it was a frustrating day all around. And then you see Donny van der Beek coming on with 3 minutes to go, and you're thinking, why? What's the point? Like, it's a bit disrespectful. And I know Ollie don't mean to disrespect anybody, but 3 minutes, 4 minutes in a semi-final. He's not an 18-year-old academy player making his debut, just looking to get any minutes. And I thought, what are you expecting him to change in this time? I don't think Fred or McTominay particularly had a good game, and you could argue if you get that, in these big games, I think you need a specialist DM, because if you have that specialist DM, you don't need to play two there, so you can play a Donny van der Beek, you can play Pogba inside and Rashford on the left and Greenwood on the right, and you can have a little bit more freedom in midfield, play 2 8s and a 6. When we're playing Fred and McTominay, and obviously I'm not saying their performances were why we lost today, but if you can play a specialist in that position that dominates, dictates, gets the ball out to your 8s and just lets you flow. Now again, Manchester City are a team that look after the ball better than most, and they really, pass it around, and they can get you on that fucking merry-go-round of when you don't know when it's going to stop. But if you can get that specialist DM in there to just mop things up and get the ball out and going, gives a little bit more confidence to your centre halves, you'd be a good one. Now Fred and McTominay, they work hard, they're busy, they're industrious, but they're not that, a Matic in his peak, for example. Now Matic is a bit, older. Now he can't deliver week in, week out. Maybe it was a game for resting Matic against Villa and playing him today. Obviously Villa was, I'd argue, a more important game, especially with the way the league's shaping up. But a semi-final, your fourth semi-final, you don't want to lose it, and we've lost it. And this City team, whilst I thought they played well in periods, they were there for the taking today. They didn't have a striker. Which made it weird for Maguire and Lindelof. And that's why I thought they did well for periods of the game, apart from that set piece again. And, crucial moments in these games, in these big games, make the difference. And you'll all look to them and say, see, Ethio's saying 0-2, defence not bad. I don't know if you're asking that sarcastically, but I just felt from the set pieces we were poor, those 2 set pieces. But generally speaking, especially with the way City play, we dealt with it quite well. Now, you're going to be dealing with a lot more set pieces against other teams, because City's a team that likes to pass the ball. They can have a set piece and still play it short and just look to get the passes going through the gears. But we've got to be better at set pieces. Ryan Lim says this loss is on Ollie and his tactics. Ross says, I can't believe we did not turn up in that game. Ryan, what do you think we should have done differently tactically? Let me know in the comments. Ahmed said Pep beat us tactically. Fred and McTominay was wasted. Obviously, we normally give a man of the match. I don't think anyone from United deserved it today. But their man of the match was Ruben Diaz, I think. He was excellent today. Dealt with everything. Some big moments, a block where I think Marcus Rashford scores. If he doesn't make the block. But apart from that, not good enough really. We had a few efforts, few attempts. Good attempt from Bruno Fernandes, which I'm just seeing on my TV again, which was well saved by their keeper. But apart from that, we didn't trouble him enough. And I know a lot of people are saying, Rebuild FC says Fred, Martial, Wan-Bissaka brought nothing in attack. Really and truly, what did we create? Like, there's been other days where Martial hasn't taken his chances. Today, we didn't create a whole host for him. And that was because the final third weren't good enough. Now, like I said earlier, when we're backs to the wall and teams are sitting with 2 forwards, you've got to get moving around a little bit more. But we've got to create more as well. We didn't deserve this win, says I Am King in the comments. Why does Maguire clear the ball while attacking and not clear while defending? Talking about his header. Kush thinks Luke Shaw was our best player. Standard 442 says Bruno needs a rest. Van der Beek needed to start. It's crazy how much Cavani was missed. Ruben Dias was colossal. And Phil Foden had a great game. I thought Foden was good in the first half. Obviously a little bit quieter in the second half. But, you know, it was to be expected as City kind of scored early and then looked to sit on it and hit us on the counter. Kieran says Bruno and Rashford were poor. Daniel says, does Martial's current form as a striker make you doubt his current ability to be our long term? I thought he wasn't great today. Had a bad game today when you look at the whole 90. But I think he's just going for a bad time. His first real rough patch. Nothing's going right for him at the moment. But you got to make stuff happen for yourself. I mean, I think that's the area where he lets himself down a little bit. Number 9s. Sometimes you got to make a little bit of luck for yourself. And that's what he doesn't do enough, in my opinion. But I'm not too worried. No, he's contributed with goals and assists in recent weeks. It's not been a complete drought. We saw him. He helped win the Aston Villa game, helped win the Everton game off the bench. So I'm not completely worried, but he's going for a bad time, quite clearly. Probably his worst time since he joined United. It would possibly be fair to say, because there's been other times where he's been taken out of the team because of the manager or injury or whatever, but he's been playing in there and he's been having the opportunities. So yeah, Donny van der Beek would have brought that killer pass in the final third. Lacking that all night. We were lacking that tonight, and that's why I'm not going to go over the top with things. I thought on another day Bruno creates a few killer chances, Rashford takes them, Martial takes them, but I thought he was tired today, and that's possibly where we lost it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. This has been the Aftermath Live. Thank you for getting your thoughts in. We'll have the Weekly United coming up for you guys tomorrow. We'll have the preview for the Watford game coming up as well. United Daily Live's back tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. So make sure you join us for that. But for now, I've been AdamMcKola. This has been the Aftermath. Unfortunately, United are knocked out of the Carabao Cup. But we're still going in the FA Cup and potentially the Premier League. So who knows what can happen. See you in a bit.